Fear is expensive. It doesn't show up on the balance sheet, but it shows up everywhere else, in late reporting, hidden defects, padded numbers, and people doing just enough to stay out of trouble. As Deming put it plainly, fear invites wrong figures. Today we're talking about fear, why it quietly wrecks improvement, and practical ways leaders can drive it out. W. Edwards Deming was blunt about fear. He didn't describe it as a soft cultural issue or a personality flaw. He described it as a management problem. In every kind of organization, fear shapes behavior. Fear of being blamed, fear of missing a target, fear of speaking up with bad news. And when fear is present, learning slows and improvement stalls. Let's step inside a manufacturing plant where this is playing out. The afternoon shift is running behind. A machine operator, Elena, notices a subtle change in vibration. Nothing dramatic. Output is still within spec. For now.
If I stop the line and it turns out to be nothing, I'll hear about it. If I don't stop it and scrap goes up, I'll really hear about it. Either way, it feels like the wrong call is mine.
Elena keeps the line running. 2 hours later, scrap spikes. Maintenance is called. Production is down longer than it would have been if the line had stopped earlier. Later that day, James, the plant manager, reviews the numbers from the shift.
Scrap jumped late in the shift. Maintenance says the bearing was failing.
James asks why the line wasn't stopped earlier. The answer is familiar.
People have been burned before for stopping without permission.
This is fear doing its work. Not dramatic fear. Rational fear. The kind that teaches people to protect themselves. Deming warned that when fear is present, people don't bring forward what they know. They bring forward what feels safe. James doesn't yell. He doesn't threaten. But the system already has. The next morning, James tries something different.
Yesterday wasn't an operator failure. It was a system failure. We made it risky to surface problems early.
James is clear that the risk calculation has to change, and that leadership owns it. They change the conversation from who made the wrong call to what signals did the system give and how did we respond? A week later, a similar vibration appears. Elena stops the line. Maintenance confirms the issue. Downtime is brief, scrap stays low.
I wasn't sure, but I knew I could stop the line, ask the question, and not get burned for it.
That's not trust built by slogans. That's trust built by consistent response. Notice what actually changed. Not the equipment, not the training manual. What changed was the risk calculation in people's heads. When the system punished early signals, those signals disappeared. When the system protected early signals, learning sped up. This is where fear becomes a competitive issue. Organizations that surface problems early learn faster than competitors who hide them. And over time, speed of learning, not size, not technology, not even experience, becomes the real advantage. Deming warned that fear leads to distorted data and hidden problems. Fear invites wrong figures, he wrote, because people learn quickly what the system will punish. They don't distort information because they're dishonest. They distort it because the system taught them how to survive. So how do you adopt this? Deming's advice was clear. Drive out fear so that everyone may work effectively for the company. Here are 3 ways to start this week. First, install a non-punitive escalation rule by making it explicit that surfacing a problem early will never be punished. Write this expectation down, repeat it consistently, and enforce it through leadership behavior. Next, change the first question leaders ask. Replace "who did this" with "what in the system made this likely?" Leaders set fear levels with their first sentence. Then, institute a simple learning review after any stoppage or defect. Ask what signal appeared, what decision was made, and what the system made easy or hard. The team identifies what abnormality was observed, when the earliest signal appeared, what risk people perceived in the moment, and what will be changed so the right action feels safe next time. Fear doesn't disappear because leaders say the right words. It disappears when people see, again and again, that telling the truth is safer than hiding it. In every organization, improvement begins as a small signal. A question, a hesitation, a quiet sense that something isn't quite right. When fear is present, those signals are swallowed. When fear is removed, they become the starting point for learning. Driving out fear isn't about being kind or permissive. It's about creating the conditions where people can contribute what they actually know, not just what feels safe to say. It's about shifting energy away from self-protection and toward shared purpose. Organizations that do this don't just feel better to work in. They adapt faster, recover sooner, and make fewer repeat mistakes. That difference compounds, quietly but relentlessly, into competitive advantage. Fear is a management choice, whether intentional or not, and so is its absence. Deming reminded us that the most important things leaders need to know can't be measured directly, which makes fear especially dangerous. It silences the very signals managers rely on. When fear governs, people brace themselves and problems arrive late. When fear is driven out, people speak sooner, learn faster, and take pride in getting things right. That is the point of driving out fear. It's the moment when people stop bracing themselves and start bringing their whole selves to the work. And when that happens, improvement becomes something people believe in.